On December 19, 2025, after years of mounting public pressure and speculation, the Department of Justice finally released its long-awaited files on Jeffrey Epstein. The anticipation had been building for months, with activists, journalists, and survivors demanding answers and accountability. This was the legal deadline, set by a new law demanding transparency in one of America's darkest scandals. The law, passed after bipartisan outrage, was meant to force the government to shed light on decades of secrecy and cover-ups. Thousands of files were promised, but what arrived was a partial, heavily redacted collection. Names, dates, and entire paragraphs were blacked out, leaving the public with more questions than answers. The evidence spanned decades: old Florida plea deals, the Manhattan investigation, photos, audio, and endless reports. Some files dated back to the 1990s, while others referenced more recent probes and interviews. But the files were incomplete, confusing, and difficult to search, frustrating journalists and the public alike. Reporters spent hours combing through digital archives, only to find key details missing or buried in bureaucratic jargon. Stark warnings marked many photos, hinting at the horrific crimes committed. Some images were so disturbing that they came with explicit cautionary notes, underscoring the gravity of the evidence. One 1996 complaint about child pornography, ignored by the FBI, raised immediate questions about systemic failures. Why had such a serious allegation been overlooked for so long? The revelation reignited debates about institutional accountability. Yet, there was no bombshell client list, just a mountain of data with crucial context missing. Many hoped for a definitive list of names, but instead, the files offered only fragments and hints, fueling further speculation. The release, coming at the last possible moment, felt more like damage control than true transparency. The timing, late at night, just before the deadline, suggested a government eager to fulfill its obligations without truly informing the public. Instead of answers, the public got a puzzle with missing pieces. Each document seemed to raise new mysteries, leaving families, survivors, and advocates searching for the truth in a sea of redactions. Suspicion and criticism grew instantly. Social media erupted with outrage, and news outlets questioned whether the government was hiding more than it revealed. The fight for the full story was only beginning. As journalists, activists, and survivors vowed to keep digging, the nation braced for a long battle to uncover the truth behind the headlines. The timing was no accident. Every detail seemed meticulously planned. The decision to release these files just as the year was winding down was more than a coincidence. It was a strategic move, one that's been used time and again by those hoping to avoid public backlash. Dropping the files right before Christmas is a classic move to bury bad news. The festive season, with its twinkling lights and bustling streets, provides the perfect cover for controversial announcements. People are focused on family, celebrations, and travel, not on government disclosures. With the public distracted and newsrooms short-staffed, the story was less likely to make waves. Journalists, like everyone else, were taking time off, and the few who remained were stretched thin, making it easier for important details to slip through the cracks. Critics saw this as a cynical PR exercise, not a genuine act of transparency. They argued that the timing was designed to ensure minimal coverage and public engagement, undermining the very idea of open government. The administration's claim of being the most transparent in history was met with disbelief. Many saw the move as a contradiction, publicly touting openness, while quietly releasing sensitive information when few were watching. The heavily redacted files and confusing release suggested an attempt to fulfill the law on paper, while hiding the truth. Pages upon pages were blacked out, leaving the public with more questions than answers, and fueling suspicions of a cover-up. This news dump strategy is designed to minimize scrutiny and protect the powerful. By releasing information at a time when few are paying attention, those in charge can avoid tough questions and uncomfortable headlines. The public felt manipulated, and trust in the process eroded further. Many wondered if the truth would ever come out, or if this was just another example of officials putting their own interests above accountability. Instead of clarity, the release created more questions and deepened suspicion. Conversations around dinner tables and online forums buzzed with speculation, as people tried to piece together what was really being hidden. The holiday timing only fueled the sense that justice was being managed, not served. For many, it was a stark reminder that sometimes, the most important truths are the ones most carefully concealed. The initial release seemed to target Democrats, especially Bill Clinton, whose name appeared repeatedly. Meanwhile, Donald Trump's name was conspicuously absent, despite known connections. This selective focus looked like political spin, amplifying opponents' ties while shielding allies. Democrats quickly condemned the release as incomplete and unlawful, with some even drafting impeachment articles against Attorney General Pam Bondi. The partisan framing turned a criminal investigation into a political battle, distracting from the real issue: justice for the victims. The public was left with a skewed narrative, and the truth remained elusive. The release became another front in America's political war. The files also featured photos of Epstein with celebrities: Mick Jagger, Diana Ross, Michael Jackson, British royals, and more. These images fueled speculation but proved nothing about the celebrities' involvement. Most were likely just social acquaintances, not complicit in Epstein's crimes. The photos highlighted Epstein's ability to infiltrate elite circles, building a facade of legitimacy. Including these images served to normalize association with Epstein, blurring lines between guilt and mere proximity. The narrative became, anyone could have been fooled by Epstein's charm and wealth. This approach subtly protected others named in the files, suggesting association did not equal guilt. The celebrity angle distracted from the core issue: how Epstein's network operated unchecked. Being named in the Epstein files does not mean someone is guilty. The files are raw data, flight logs, address books, statements, often lacking context. Names appear for many reasons, and without evidence, assumptions are dangerous. The media and public must resist the urge to jump to conclusions. The files are not a verdict. They are leads for further investigation. Heavy redactions make it nearly impossible to understand the full story behind each mention. Transparency is essential. Without it, rumor replaces fact. Justice demands careful, methodical scrutiny, not trial by public opinion. The search for truth must not create new injustices. We must separate association from action, and accusation from guilt. The release seemed designed to build a narrative that could shield powerful figures. By showing Epstein with a wide range of celebrities, the files suggested he fooled everyone. This narrative creates plausible deniability for those in his orbit, shifting blame to Epstein alone. It blurs the lines between casual acquaintances and those with deeper involvement. The more people seen with Epstein, the harder it is to single out anyone for scrutiny. Highlighting Democrats' closer ties set a high bar for what counts as a problematic connection, making others' associations seem less significant. This strategy protects the powerful by diluting responsibility. The story becomes about Epstein's deception, not the actions of those around him. For Epstein survivors, the release was another bitter disappointment. They fought for transparency, but received redacted, incomplete files. Pages were blacked out, details hidden, and key documents offered no information. The government claimed redactions protected victims, but survivors saw them as shields for the powerful. Advocates argued the administration could have released everything, unredacted, long ago. The partial release felt like betrayal, a puzzle with most pieces missing. Survivors want the whole truth: who participated, who enabled, who looked away. Their demand is simple: full accountability. The incomplete, politicized release only strengthened their resolve. This is not just politics, it's a human tragedy, and justice is still out of reach. Justice delayed is justice denied, never truer than in the Epstein case. Every day without full truth is another day of pain for survivors. The selective, confusing release feels like a tactic to exhaust public interest and protect the powerful. Missing information breeds conspiracy theories and misinformation. Survivors are left wondering if their abusers' names are hidden forever. This erodes faith in the system, suggesting two sets of rules: one for the elite, one for everyone else. Epstein's case is now a symbol of systemic failure. The demand for transparency is about restoring faith in justice for all. Survivors have shown courage. All they ask is the truth. The longer the truth is withheld, the deeper the wound, and the more urgent the need for real reckoning. The Epstein files story is far from over. Despite the headlines and the official statements, so many questions remain unanswered, and the public's demand for the truth has only grown louder. Each new revelation seems to raise even more doubts about what's being hidden and why. The flawed release has only strengthened the resolve of those demanding answers. Across the country, people are taking to the streets, calling for transparency and accountability from those in power. Their voices echo a simple but powerful message. The truth must come out, no matter how uncomfortable it may be for those who wish to keep it buried. True justice won't be handed down. It must be fought for. Activists, survivors, and their allies know that real change only happens when people refuse to be silent. Their determination is a reminder that justice is not a passive process. It requires courage, persistence, and collective action. Survivors, advocates, journalists, and the public must keep pressing for full, unredacted files. Every redaction, every withheld document, is a barrier to justice. The fight is not just for information, but for recognition, for validation, and for the hope that the full story will finally be told. Supporting survivors is essential. Their courage drives this fight. Behind every headline are real people whose lives have been forever changed. Their bravery in coming forward inspires others to speak out and reminds us all that healing and justice are deeply connected. We must keep questioning the timing, the redactions, and the political spin. It's not enough to accept official narratives at face value. Journalists and citizens alike have a responsibility to scrutinize every detail, to challenge inconsistencies, and to demand honest answers from those in power. Complacency is the enemy. If attention fades, the truth stays buried. History has shown that when the spotlight moves on, accountability slips away. It's up to all of us to keep the pressure on, to ensure that this case is not forgotten, and that justice is not denied by silence. This case is about more than one man. It's about a system that enabled him. The structures of power, privilege, and secrecy that allowed abuse to flourish must be exposed and dismantled. Only then can we hope to prevent such tragedies from happening again. Exposing the full network is about preventing future abuse and proving no one is above the law. It's about sending a clear message. Justice applies to everyone, regardless of status or influence. The pursuit of truth is a safeguard for future generations. The pursuit of justice for Epstein's victims is a fight for the soul of our justice system. It's a test of whether our institutions can truly serve the people, or if they will continue to protect the powerful at the expense of the vulnerable. We must see it through, for the survivors, and for a just society. The path to justice is long and difficult, but together, we can ensure that the truth is revealed and that real accountability is finally achieved.